Everyone, welcome back to the Entertainment Buddhacast. It is nice to be speaking to you again from Entertainment Buddha HQ, where I just got done live streaming Sunset Overdrive. Yes, I got to play it early, and that's one of the benefits of being an Entertainment Buddha. So anyways, just want to welcome you back to the Entertainment Buddhacast. I am Matt Haywood, your host. I'm here with Anna Febo down there in hopefully sunny Florida. How you doing, Anna? Good to talk to you again.
I'm good. It's definitely sunny.
Yeah, my wife is down there right now, hanging with my sister and the little kids. So it's much better than the 60-degree weather we have up here. But at least it's not raining.
Right.
Yeah, cold, wet rain is one of the worst. I'd rather it snow.
It's hot. It's getting chilly at night, but it's just hot right now.
God, yeah. Well, I'll be down December to thaw out a bit, because by then it's going to be miserable up here. So anyways, let's get off the weather talk and kind of intro our topics for this geeky podcast. Considering the time of the month, we're approaching on the 31st. Happy Halloween. Happy early Halloween. The Great Pumpkin and Charlie Brown and all that fun stuff is just around the corner. So we thought it'd be a good time to talk about survival horror games. So this week's cast is going to be titled Surviving the Horrors of Survival Horror. Okay, that took us at least a day to come up with. So we're very proud of that title. Yeah, we're very proud of that title. So we just want to talk about some of the recent survival horror games that have come out, as well as some of those in the past that may have scared the shit out of us, because one in general that I just got done playing was easily the most fear-inducing, panic ass-kicking game I've ever played. So we're going to go through that, then move on to the whole Disney Infinity versus Skylanders debate. I finally got into Skylanders. If you don't know, this is a game that's out there where you buy toys and you put them in a portal and they show up in the game and then you play with them. Disney Infinity kind of played off of that. And as Anna has explained to me, it changed a few things up from Skylanders. So we'll talk about that. Anna has a few things to say about Borderlands, the pre-sequel. And then if we have time, we may kind of discuss some of the movies we're looking forward to, or some of the movie news that came out this week. Maybe we have some opinions on that. So let's get started, Anna. What do you say?
Let's do this.
All right, so survival horror. It's a genre that, quite frankly, I don't have a ton of experience in. How about you, Anna? I mean, is it a genre you like to play? Have you played games in it before?
I have, but I tend to get scared when I play them, so I space it out because my anxiety just goes through the roof, and then at that point my palms get sweaty, the controller will fall out of my hand, and I can't focus anymore, so it's like tiny increments.
You know what? I'm kind of with you. It's a genre that I really have not played many games in, and it is because it puts you on that edge. And the game I really want to talk about, because the one that, I mean, it's not like I need convincing to play survival horror. I get it. It is a fun genre. It has its niche. It's just like you said, sometimes when I want to play a game, I want to feel excited and happy to play it. When with survival horror, it's just you're on this such a fine line of, is it anxiety? Is it panic? Is it excitement? Is it intrigue to see what's around the next bend? To where, when I was playing Alien Isolation, I'd literally have to talk myself into playing it again, because while doing it, your nervous system, or at least mine, is just bundled up, and it gets crushed by the allure or the fear of that Xeno popping out and killing you.
Well, that's how I was when I was playing Dead Space 2. It took me about a year and a half to actually finish that game, because I put in the game, but I spent 30 minutes playing it, and I was so scared that even if a piped move, I would jump up and I would scream, and I'm like, you know what? I can't do this right now. I'm just not doing this. And it was months and months later that I came back to it and was determined to finish playing it. And I finally got through it and I was like, okay, that wasn't so bad. There were still some moments that were like really scary when she just like pops out of nowhere. I forget her name, but it's like the dead girlfriend or the dead wife. And he can be in an elevator. Isaac was in the elevator and she just like pops up and she's screaming in his face. And I'm like, oh, no, I'm okay. Mm-mm.
Oh yeah, when I was playing Alien, there's 3 times where I jumped scared, and then there's another one where I literally screamed like a little girl because it was late at night. I don't know about you, but I play these games I play most of my games in pitch black because I'm in a basement. But I had no lights on, and I was wearing my PS Gold wireless headset to really keep all that ambient noise into my earlobes and to really immerse me in the game, and it sucked. I mean, it sucked in a good way. I'll make no bones about it. Alien Isolation, I believe, has received my highest review score of 2014. I ended up giving it a 98 out of 100 because it hits on all the points it needs to hit to make it great.
And I still want to play the game. I haven't picked it up yet, but I want to play it. And when I read your review, and then even when I saw streaming, I'm like, I think I'm just gonna hold off on this because there's outside stress that I've got going on. So I don't know if the one thing that I do to relieve the stress, if I want to,
you're exactly right.
add that on.
Yeah. That's a good line of thinking because, as I mentioned earlier, anytime I had to sit down and play it, I knew I had to do a review, so I had to play it, and I'd wake up and be like, got to play Alien, and it's like, oh no, I got to come home and play Alien.
But you think about Alien anyway, and even when you watch the movie, it doesn't matter how many times I've seen them, I still get scared. I mean, they blend in so well.
I'm glad you brought that up because I think it's a generational thing, at least with this Alien game, where if you were, I know I'm probably a bit older than you. I grew up in the 80s, 90s. I was in middle school, high school, college was done by 2002. But when I was little, when the Alien movies were out, my dad probably shouldn't have let me watch them. And I did. And like you said, from that moment on, that xenomorph and the noises it makes, the little mouth that shoots out, its drool, its acid blood, it freaks me the fuck out. I mean, and I think it goes back to that we kind of grew up with the Alien franchise and realized how scary it was and how awesome Alien, which this game is more or less based on, and then Aliens, which changes the tone a little bit, but it's still scary as fuck.
Yeah, I was born in 83. I have no shame in saying that.
All right, so then we're in the same generation.
Yeah.
Then.
So I think Alien and Aliens may have come, well, for sure Alien came out before I think I was born, and then Aliens either came out before or after I was born, but the first one that I saw was Aliens. I didn't see Alien right away. So the one movie that sticks with me of the franchise is Aliens, and I can't tell you how many
Aliens
times
was
I've seen that
86,
movie.
so you would have been 3 years old if you were shown that when it first came out.
No. Yeah, luckily that was not the first horror or suspense movie that I was shown. It was Freddy Krueger, which I would have probably preferred to start off with Aliens versus something.
Ooh, those are both bad though. I mean, for some reason, my parents were cool with showing me really jacked up sci-fi, but like pure horror films, didn't really get into those.
Yeah, that was all my dad. My mom would always get so mad at him because she's like, why would you let her watch that? Well, she just, she wanted to spend time with me and that's what I was going to watch. And she's like, but don't you forget she's a child. She's going to be traumatized by that.
Yeah.
And sure as
thanks,
shit,
Mom and Dad.
Was.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody. That's why we're all messed up now and we're geeks and we love what we love. But I think there's a point, there's a validity to that where if you did grow up in the 80s and 90s and you remember watching these films with your parents and getting the shit scared out of you. I mean, I can still remember when I lived in Pittsburgh, I was kind of in an addition by myself. My parents were upstairs on the second floor. And every night when I go to bed, I'd make my mom turn on a nightlight, keep the door open, and I always would stare out my door wondering when a xenomorph was going to round the corner and come in. And
I was the same way.
yeah. I mean, I had a Spud McKenzie nightlight probably till I was in 4th grade. So there you go, people. I was a scaredy cat as a young man. But it definitely helped me with Alien Isolation, because if you've seen the movies, Alien and Aliens have very different tones. Aliens is more action oriented. You got the Space Marines, you got the game over, man, and stuff like that. Where Alien, it's
Just
all
like that.
about stealth scares. So I definitely liked the game Alien Isolation. I love the fear it brought in. Highly recommend checking it out. I think we may have lost Anna. No, you're still on?
Yeah, well, I'm back. Like, for a moment, I lost you, and now you're back. And yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so I was just saying when you dropped out that definitely if you're a fan of the franchise and it scared the piss out of you, there's no way that Alien Isolation will not scare the piss out of you. I mean, I'm a grown-ass man, and it was rough to get through. In fact, Sunday, I knew I was getting close to the end, and I just said, I'm like, you know what, dude, fuck it. Let's push through this. I went nearly 8 hours straight just to finish the game so I could kind of lift that weight off of my shoulders. You know,
Yeah.
I knew I had to get the review done because we're in the fall season and there's AAA games coming out every week. But I also, just for my own sanity, I wanted to get this review done because I was a ball of stress playing it. But that just goes to show you how good of a job Creative Assembly did.
So is a majority of the game more stealth than there is, like, using a gun or a flamethrower?
I mean, honestly, you could go through the whole game without ever firing a shot. I mean, this is a pure stealth experience. You can't really kill anything but other humans. So you're on a space station, essentially. It's called the Sevastopol. And some shit goes down before you get there. You get there and you realize, everything's gone to hell in the handbag. There's citizens on there. There's these androids still on there. And then obviously we know the Xeno is on there.
Yeah.
So at all times you have to watch out for all 3 factions, but the humans you can kill.
Were there any like Easter eggs for any of the movies thrown into the game?
Yeah, there's a flashback where you kind of get to walk on LV-426 like they did in the movies, and you get to go into now that we know it's the Prometheans or whatever the hell, the engineer's ship. So you get to walk through there and all that fun stuff.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's just great. I mean, they nailed what made Alien the movie so popular. It's just that atmosphere, and they achieved it through brilliant sound, fantastic visuals with particle effects, the lighting. I mean, sometimes just walking down a hallway, even though you're playing a game, you felt like there was someone behind you. You always felt like someone was going to chase you, or that damn alien was going to pop out and, either eat your face off or stab his tail through your chest.
I was watching one of the streams and someone was walking into, like, they were walking down a hallway and they're walking into rooms, but there isn't any light in them. And I'm just like, oh, don't go in there, don't go in there, don't go in there. And they come out and, like, nothing happens. And, like, they go into the room like, no, don't do it. Just go, just leave.
And Creative Assembly, they did a good job with that, because sometimes you're like, oh, man, I can go in here, I'll be cool. And then, bam, you hear them walking around in events below you or on top of you, and then you hear him drop down and he makes that hiss. And then if you can't dive under a table or into a closet or a cabinet, you're screwed. I mean, for the most part, he will find you. And so the AI is pretty solid. And if you play it on hard, I've heard that the AI is ridiculous. Like, he actively hunts you down. Where, I mean, playing on normal, he'll hunt you.
Yeah.
I like how I keep calling it a he. We don't really know if xenomorphs have a sex. But anyways, we'll call it a she. A he, she.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there was the queen, but then again, we don't know how Because they use the face huggers, and the face huggers is what...
Right. How'd the queen come to be? I mean, that's kind of... I did a post yesterday on kind of breaking down some of the plot holes of Alien Isolation. And it was a post for fun. I mean, I'm not shitting on the game at all.
Yeah.
Always commenters are going to get in there and call you an idiot and say, this wasn't a... It's like, whatever. I mean, technically, by the definition of plot hole, everything I mentioned is a plot hole.
Right.
I don't want to spoil anything, so if you've played the game, read that post, see if you agree with me or disagree. But there are a few moments where you just go, come on. One is not a spoiler, but basically you're outside and you have to get back to a ship, and somehow she can float back to the ship with no propulsion. And if you've seen Gravity, you know that is impossible.
Yeah.
But there's other major ones, but they don't ruin the game whatsoever. I mean, it's fantastic. It really is. Cool. It's a game I will probably keep, even though I know I'll never play it again because of how it made me feel. But that is still a credit to what Creative Assembly achieved. I mean, if they create an experience that is so fear-inducing that you don't want to play it, but you love it, I think they've achieved their goal.
That's definitely one I'm going to have to add to the backlog.
Yeah, so if you want to test yourself, that is definitely a game to do it. Again, I do not have a lot of experience in survival horror. I'm glad you brought up Dead Space, because honestly, the original Dead Space was the first survival horror game I played. And like Alien Isolation, it creeped me the fuck out. I mean, anyone that's played that game knows the very opening segment, once you get on the space station, and you're in that lab, and then one of the necromorphs comes up, and you got to run for your fucking life, and you know it's chasing you. That, from the get-go, set the tone, and Alien Isolation is very similar. I mean, from the moment you land on the Sevastopol, you know you're in for some fear.
I would just think horror in general would sometimes be very hard to nail, only because it's been done so many times, so it's trying to find a way for it to not be predictable. I mean, I could see the challenges in that, but
and that's why I liked with Alien. They didn't really just go for jump scares. It just, I mean, using the sound and knowing that any moment this alien could come down and rip your guts out was enough. I mean, they had some jump scares, but it wasn't just jump scares. I mean, I've heard Resident Evil 2 and 4 are considered pretty scary. But I just don't know, so I can't comment. So to me, Alien Isolation is the scariest fucking game I've ever played. End of story.
Yeah, I mean, I think I tried to play Resident Evil 2, like, way back when, and even then I was just like, I couldn't even do it.
Yeah, I'm a fraidy cat, but I love scary movies. For some reason...
I know, I'm the same way. Well, I mean, not a lot of the ones that come out today, because I just think everything is just changed from what we grew up watching to what's coming out now.
Yeah, now it's all this poltergeist shit, or real, it's pretend real life.
Yeah, like that found footage stuff.
I like the stuff from when we were little, the hack and slash, just stupid amounts of blood and violence and scary shit. I also like demented horror, like the House of 1,000 Corpses and some of the stuff that Rob Zombie did, where it's not really dealing with demons and monsters and stuff, but dealing with people as monsters, like just fucked up individuals.
Yeah, that's like probably what Texas Chainsaw Massacre was in the 70s. That's probably like our equivalent of that, like House of 1,000 Corpses for us.
Did you ever watch Cabin Fever?
I sure did. Eli Roth.
Yep. How about Cabin in the Woods?
Oh, I actually loved Cabin in the Woods. I thought it was very...
Isn't that Joss Whedon?
He produced it. I know he produced it. But I just thought how it was just a fun take on the whole folklore of having to sacrifice people to keep the gods happy. And, and then the fact that the whole movie was not what you expected it to be. You really thought it was just going to be a movie about a cabin in the woods and a bunch of stupid, drunk college kids go and they die. And
was that Chris Hemsworth's first movie?
I want to say that's one of his first roles, because I think he did that before he did Thor, but they released that like just around when Thor was released. I don't know if they did that purposely to kind of like boost up ticket sales and
totally.
and all that stuff. But yeah, I really liked it. And then when they made it downstairs, and it was just like room after room of monsters, and they purposely like orchestrated all these events to kill these people, and they would select the monsters and just play on your fears. So it was really cool. And then when they all got out, and that was fun.
Yeah, it's a cool movie. So I definitely prefer horror in my films versus my games.
Yes.
But if you're into survival horror or just like being on edge and freaking yourself the fuck out, Alien Isolation is a great weekend. Hell, it's more than a weekend. It's actually a lengthy game. I mean, we're talking over 15 hours. So check it out, people. If you need to, read my review on entertainmentboo.com. Like I said, 98 out of 100. Our boy Ray, a.k.a. Raymond III, Raymond Pareca III, if you will, or we call him RP3 around the offices here. He played The Evil Within, and I mean, I can't really go into it. I've only played snippets of it at E3 and PAX. I mean, the world definitely is freaky looking. I just don't know how scary it is. I wasn't really scared or playing in fear when I was at these shows playing it, but obviously that's in a really loud environment with a bunch of neon lights, and so you're not really getting into the zone like you need to get into the zone for a survival horror.
I was watching a little bit of his stream the other night, and just looking at it, I wonder if that's more of a like psychological horror than it really is survival horror, because it looked like there were times where like he would walk down a hallway, but then there would be these flashes and things and monsters would appear, but then
it's more a demented game, and it's just jacked up.
Okay, so it's not quite survival, more.
Yeah, I mean, in that game, you can kill stuff. Obviously, ammo and things are limited, and you got to repair stuff, but you can't kill it. So it's kind of more like Dead Space, where in Alien Isolation, you can't kill the Xeno. I mean, you can't. And then the androids there that are kind of gone nuts because they sense that something's on the space station that shouldn't be there, you can't really kill them either. I mean, you can. It takes a lot of ammo, which is very sparse. So Evil Within, you definitely get more of an arsenal to work with.
So it's like Dead Space and Dead Space 2 in that sense, where it's like if you get the ammo, like be very strategic with how you're going to use it.
Exactly.
It might be a while.
and just like the Dead Space franchise and Evil Within, you have to make sure they're dead, and to do that, you catch them on fire after you get them down. Just like in Dead Space, you have to shoot off all their limbs to make sure that they stop coming.
Okay.
Oh, man. I'm thinking back to that scene in Dead Space 2 where Isaac takes the needle to the eye, and you like have to guide it in.
Yeah, you have to guide it in. Yeah, no. I was like, really? Do I really have to do this?
Oh man. Anytime I see like eye surgery or something like that, it freaks me out.
Yeah. That was not fun. And then in Dead Space 2, those little pod baby looking things.
Oh yeah, the babies
that they would explode, and like you walk in and you see the lady like, oh, like look at this little baby, then it just explodes and it's a room full of blood. Blah. I
love the Dead Space franchise. I even like Dead Space 3. It sucks that probably has killed it for a while.
Really? I wasn't crazy about it. I think it had to do with the co-op play, and I feel like that took some attention away from the actual horror.
Oh yeah, horror-wise, it wasn't horror whatsoever. I'll give you that.
Okay.
I'm just saying, as a video game, it was a solid video game. I like the story that's been told in Dead Space. I like the character of Isaac and the things he's been through, and the markers. I think it's a really cool world. And I don't know, did you ever watch any of the animated movies for Dead Space?
No, I did not.
Highly recommend checking those out. I think there's at least two. It's like Aftermath and another one. And I believe they're on Netflix, or they were at one point in time. But they're great animated flicks that help flesh out more of the Dead Space universe.
Okay.
Very violent too. I mean, they're not. They're like rated R animation. I mean, it's not Disney or anything. Well, what do you think? Let's move on to something a little more lighthearted.
Yeah.
And that was kind of funny. You know, I'm kicking my ass over Alien Isolation all week, and then come Monday evening, I throw in Skylanders Trap Team. Talk about a tonal shift. I mean, you go from sitting here being a ball of nerves, scared to even play the game, to this bright, bubbly toys and the neon, vibrant world of a Skylanders. So we kind of wanted to talk about the Skylanders franchise and then the Disney Infinity. Anna's our Infinity expert. I am now becoming our Skylanders expert. So me personally, I don't think anyone on the staff has ever played a Skylanders game outside of Ten Benson's little girl. And he said, yeah, dude, she loves it. We've bought so many toys. So the first thing I want to mention is that whoever came up with this, Toys for Bob and then Activision, the pure marketing brilliance. Because not only are the figures rad, but the game, honestly, it's not a bad game at all. I mean, it has a ton of content. It kind of feels like the Lego games where you know you're not going to get your ass kicked, and it's very family friendly and little kid friendly. But I can see why parents are being made to go out and buy all these damn Skylanders toys, because it is pretty rad. And if you don't know how these games are played, you essentially plug in something into your console in the USB port. And in Skylanders, it's called the Portal. You take your figures, which have probably a chip in their base, and you put it in the portal. And then from there, the figure will get read into the game, and then you can control that character. So characters have different abilities. They can be leveled up. There are different classes like water, air, earth, life, so on and so forth. And like I said, the figures are cool as shit. The game looks great. The game's fun to play. So I totally see why this franchise has blown up, and it's a craze amongst younger kids. So go ahead and kind of preface Disney Infinity. I mean, how's that game work?
Well, with Disney Infinity, you have the actual games that, like they have the toy box, and your toy box is like Forge in Halo, where you go in and you just build whatever you want. You can build a race, you can build an entirely new city. I mean, it's
all right. So say you want to do a new city. I mean, are you talking block by block of every building, or is there like a template and you're just like, bam, there's a building?
No. There are no templates. You just go in and you literally put block by block. So if you want to, let's say, build a tree, you put like your one part of the stump down, let's say, and then you just rotate it in a different angle, and then you have your half of a stump, and then you have your 75% and then 100% of it. So you literally build it piece by piece. I mean, it is absolutely insane what you can do. I mean, in Disney Infinity 1.0, you had someone recreate Columbia from BioShock Infinite. I mean, that's insane. I don't
so
want to know how much time.
Minecraft then? I mean, is it just a big sandbox?
You can describe it like that too. I mean, and they have these discs for like themes. So you could have like a Wreck-It Ralph themed toy box where everything is kind of reflecting that. You can add in enemies. So when you're in your toy box and you just want to go and just shoot the shit, so to speak, you can do that. I mean, it is absolutely insane. I mean, just what you can do. Disney Interactive even hired people who created these amazing, worlds and hired them on to be a part of Disney Infinity 2.0.
So in 1.0, some of the user-created content got people jobs.
They went out to the community and they hired some people, and it's like, oh, that's pretty awesome of Disney. Like, they saw the potential that the community has and, scoop them up. I mean, smart.
So let's say we're in the Guardians of the Galaxy toy box. So is everything you can build themed to the Guardians theme?
No, because the only thing that you're going to have that's themed is the world itself. So you could see, like Ronan the Accuser, you could see his ship off in the background, and you could see like a planet off.
So it's more just environmental changes, like in the background and whatnot.
Yeah, because as you as you go and you create all this stuff, the different items that you can use it's ridiculous. I mean, you could put trees, you could put grassy hills, you can, just, it's ridiculous what you could do. I tried to do something and I got nowhere. I'm like, my imagination is not that wild to
my problem with
anything.
games like that, I don't think it's imagination, it's attention span. I mean, I look and see how much work that will require, and then start placing a few blocks, and then it's just fuck this.
Yeah, no. But then like when you get into the actual like story, so it's similar to Skylanders where you have the base and you put your little story. The story is just separate and you just stick it on there. And then you have the 2 spots for your characters. So you plug in your story, you go and you play in your story, and you go. And because Disney Infinity 2.0 is now going the Marvel route, it was a lot of fun because the starter pack comes with the Avengers story. So it's not similar to the movie at all. It's just Loki is in there and you have to stop Loki, but then you also get introduced
so the
to a couple
stories are they're different from the toy boxes?
Yeah.
Okay.
They are. So your starter pack comes with the Avengers story, and then in a different playset, you could get the Spider-Man one, which comes with the Spider-Man figure and the Nova figure. And what they decided to change this time around is that you could only use certain figures with certain playsets. But if you want to go into the toy box mode and create your world, you could use any character. It's just for the actual stories, you could only use certain ones.
It has this whole forge, like you said, as you will. You have this creator.
Yeah.
But then you also have stories, which are essentially the campaigns.
Yeah,
okay.
You have your campaign stories, and then within...
And then how many toys can you import at once?
2. You can only have 2.
Yeah, you can only do 1 in Skylanders.
Yeah, but I think with Skylanders, you can buy an additional base, and I think you could hook it up.
Yeah, no, it supports
2.
It supports 2 players for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think with Skylanders, there's that. And then the other thing with Disney Infinity is the power discs. I mean, and they're blind packs, so you never know what you're gonna get.
Don't you love? I mean, you see, like I said, the marketing behind this stuff is insane. Disney look at Skylanders, are like, well, shit, this is a license to print money. People, let's just use our IP and call it Disney Infinity, and here we go.
I mean, and I honestly can't tell you how much fucking money I spent on Disney Infinity 1.0. I mean, when Toys R Us had sales, when they were like buy one, get one 50% off, that's when I would go and I would get the packs.
Yeah,
and
lock and load.
Oh, yeah, and Toys R Us had exclusive figures and exclusive power discs, and I'm like, I have to get them, I have to find them, and yeah, it was bad. It was really,
and
really
I can
bad.
see that. I mean, I you know me, I love collecting toys, and just getting these various little Skylanders. I mean, they're brilliant little figures.
I think that's why you would appreciate Disney 2.0 because of the Marvel.
Oh, I know.
Figures.
Well, and they're all in that chibi, super deformed style, which I just die for. I mean,
yeah.
What we're talking about, people, is I have a severe addiction to Funko Pop vinyl dolls. This Funko company, I own half of it at this point. I mean, that's how much money I dump into.
I'm surprised you don't have stock in the company.
When I was in Seattle, I really wanted to go look up the factory and check it out because it's in Seattle. And I've been following Funko from the day I found, they start with bobbleheads and crap. And then once the Funko Pops kicked off, they just limited it to, maybe Star Wars. But now the popularity of the Funko has just gone insane, and now everything's been Funkoed. I mean, movies, TV, cartoons. I just got my Who Framed Roger Rabbit Funko Pop and Jessica doll. Because I don't know about you, I loved that movie as a kid. I thought Who Framed Roger Rabbit was fantastic.
Yeah. Patty cake, patty cake.
And I was, being a little boy, there's something about, what was her name? Was her name Jessica?
Jessica, Yeah, Jessica in the
I
in the dress.
had a crush on her like none other.
So Christopher Lloyd scared the shit out of me in that movie.
Yeah,
only because at the end, in the what is it it wasn't the acid. Was it?
I think he fell in that vat or something.
It was something that, and then he's like falling in there and just no. Mm-mm.
I love that. That movie. It was so different for that time, and there really hasn't been a movie outside of maybe Space Jam that mixed animation with live action.
Well, Cool World. Do you remember that one with Brad Pitt?
Oh yeah.
That was like a completely different like tone.
Well, I guess I'm just saying, over the past shit at this point, 15 years. I mean, it's.
Well, aren't they making Space Jam 2?
Are they? Is Jordan going to be in it, or is it going to be LeBron James this time?
I think probably LeBron.
LeBron or Kobe or one of those guys.
Yeah, nice. one of those. Yeah.
Yeah, so we just went on a major tangent about toys. But anyways, back to the Funko Pop and Super Deformed and why Anna thinks I'd love Disney Infinity 2.0 Marvel.
Yeah.
I have a thing for the Super Deformed style, which is basically big heads, small bodies. And I own over 400 Funko Pop dolls, and that's just a general, very conservative count.
Yes.
Just waiting for my dancing baby Groots coming in December.
Yeah, I pre-ordered that too.
Hell yeah, there was that, and what else pre-ordered with that one? There are 2 released. There's Dancing Baby Groot and another must-have. Oh, the Howard the Duck.
Howard the Duck. I should pre-order that.
You have to. I mean, he was in Guardians, and I don't know if you watched the movie when you're little, but that's another one I used to watch every once in a while.
Yeah.
Howard
I used to watch
the
that movie.
Duck. Yeah.
Yeah, I used to watch that movie all the time with my brother. Like that's one movie that we grew up watching, and it didn't matter what format it was on. We watched it.
Oh yeah.
We probably had the VHS.
And
too.
For me, I love the Marvel post-credit scenes. And while it was cool to see Howard, I mean, that was a nice nod. I was disappointed that James Gunn only did that and didn't really give us a tease for. I mean, what's going to be the next one? Is it going to be Avengers 2? Is that the next Marvel movie in succession? Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the next one.
Yeah, it should be Age of Ultron. And I was just hoping for some sort of tease towards that. But no, we get Howard the Duck with the collector.
Yeah, my brother was really happy. He was like, "Oh my God, it's Howard the Duck." And I'm like, "Yeah, no. This is, great, but
I love the nod to the Marvel universe at large. But someone like my wife, she's like, well, "What the fuck was that?" So that's Howard the Duck. What do you mean? He got captured. He got put in the museum because he's so damn special.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think you're right on Infinity, and I'm already finding on Skylanders. I mean, this could be something that I may stick with, even at being 34 years old.
Yeah, well, and the price of the figures, they're like $15 for individual ones. I think. I mean, I don't know how much the Skylanders are.
That's spot on, which gets up there to me. I mean, that's a little pricey for the size of the figure.
Yeah. And I know the best time to get them is when they have like a buy one, get one 50% off or 40% off. That's when you're going to get the most bang for your buck, because if you get them individually, it's a lot of money.
Yeah, I can see it adding up. I mean, this is one where the parents dump couple hundy, $300-$400 at Christmas and load up the kiddos.
Yeah, and then with Disney Infinity, it's like certain retailers will release them before they're released to other, retailers. So it's like a pre-order here and get it first. And yeah, I do know that if you pre-ordered Disney Infinity, like the superhero edition, which was like a different base for PS3 or PS4, you got the Hulk with it, and the Hulk doesn't come out for
hell no,
like another month or so. So yeah, so if you one of those people that got it, good for you, because I really want the Hulk.
I love the Hulk.
Yeah. So
Hulk smash! I'm looking at my Hulk hands right now. They're on my desk behind my Man of Steel statue.
So yeah, I mean that's like Disney Infinity in a nutshell. They've got story, they've got like a forge, they have power discs. So and then the circular ones, really quick, are like power ups. So it's like extra strength, extra damage, more coin or more XP. So it just depends. And the like hexagon shaped ones are the ones that you would use in the toy box. So like in Forge, so you could use a vehicle or it's a different theme, things like that. So that's the difference between the power discs.
Got you. So Skylanders, on the other hand, it does not have this creation mode. I mean, it's pure, you have a campaign. There's a tower defense type of mode, and then there's like an arena, see how long you can survive. But then there's all sorts of expanded content. Like you were saying, you got the Skylanders and buy an expansion. And as soon as you put in the portal, it unlocks into the game. You can buy, a hat, you put in the portal, it unlocks it for buffs for the characters. So that they do share some similarities outside of it sounds like Infinity has a pretty heavy focus on creation, sandbox type of worlds.
Yeah. I mean, and the fact that it's Disney, again, when I first came on to Entertainment Buddha, like one of the very first things that I did was Disney Infinity 1.0 review. And I mentioned if Disney got around to going into, Marvel and Star Wars and just all
you're right. I just forgot about that. Oh, the Star Wars, my God.
They would,
oh my God.
They would kill. They would absolutely, I mean, I'm sure Skylanders will be around as long as Disney Infinity is around.
Yeah, it doesn't have that deep chest of known, very popular IP to sift through, though. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh
so
my God, I see that you're right. I mean, there's going to be a damn Star Wars one. It's only a matter of time.
I'm sure I would not be surprised if Disney waited for the release of Star Wars 7.
Oh yeah.
I would not be surprised if they waited at that time to do something.
Oh yeah, I think you're spot on, and we'll revisit this tape when that happens in 2016 because I completely forgot about that. I mean, it's not that I'm a jaded Star Wars fan that doesn't like that Disney owns it. I actually think it's better for the franchise. It's just, it's still not normal to think that George Lucas doesn't own his baby anymore.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like, I could, like, I've been a Disney girl since birth, basically, since birth.
Yeah.
And I get people were upset, but I think the way that some people should look at it is just think of the creative beast that Disney is and the resources and what comes attached.
Yeah, I'm all over. I think it's great. I mean, George proved with the prequels that he lost something.
Yeah.
Because I don't know about you, but those were fucking terrible. They're still terrible. And they've tainted the entire franchise.
When I watched them at the time that they came out, I'm like, this is so great. This is so awesome.
I went and saw Phantom Menace 10 times in the fucking theater. That's how I like convinced myself that it was awesome. I was 19. I'll never forget it.
And then you watch it like now and you're just like, oh, this is the worst thing I've ever seen in my life.
I mean, Attack of the Clones, I can't even look at the disc. I mean, Attack of the Clones is a fucking mess. Hayden Christensen is the worst. I mean, the worst actor in the world. I mean, I feel bad for Natalie Portman and Ewan McGregor that they had to be dragged through that shit.
But yeah.
But I know my man, and I think you know too. I know JJ's going to do it right. I mean, there's no fucking doubt.
JJ Abrams, he has that like storytelling appeal, like when him and Steven Spielberg teamed up for Super 8. Like, and now I get like a lot of people didn't really like it, but if you think about it, I mean, Steven Spielberg is a type of director where he tells stories. He pays attention to like details and J.J. Abrams is similar like that. Like if he's gonna do something, he wants to tell the story. And there were a lot of nods to like E.T. because E.T. was that kind of like adventure kind of thing. So, I mean,
I'm a huge JJ fan. I mean, I've loved him since Alias when he started that show on TV. I mean, I still think Alias is one of the best spy type of shows
I never saw it.
Are you kidding me?
I swear I never saw it.
I mean, I know life's packed, but you gotta just buy the box set. It's fantastic. I mean, it tails off pretty hard at the end because what's her name wanted to get in the movies and then married Ben.
Oh, Jennifer.
Yeah, Garner. Yeah, thought she was too big for the show, but I mean, dude started on it. What the hell's his name? Bradley Cooper was on that show. I mean, as just like a bit part. I mean, it is fantastic. If you like spy stuff, espionage, strong females kicking ass, I mean, you have to watch Alias. You have to.
Okay.
And then obviously I liked Lost, even though that when I look back on the finale now, I'm like, that was kind of cheap, but I enjoyed it.
Kind of a cop out.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. So yeah, anything JJ touches or Bad Robot in general, I'm usually a big fan of. So I know he's gonna do Star Wars 7 right. We've already seen that he's doing a lot of stuff practically. There's not a lot of green screen, which is a great sign.
Yeah.
And depending on how bad you want to spoil shit for yourself, like I kind of did this week on the site, there's some concept art going around that it's gonna blow your mind.
Nope. I have no desire to be.
I'm with you, but I'm conflicted. We run a site for geeky stuff, and that obviously is something that people probably would want to see. But I hated just having to do it because who knows if it's true or not. But it probably is going to be because most everything that leaks these days from movie sets is legit.
Yeah,
but it's going to be a fairly big moment for sure.
Yeah. Like speaking of like movie stuff, how about Robert Downey Jr. rumored to be in Captain America 3 to kick off Civil War?
Yeah, I don't even know if that's really a rumor at this point. I think he is going to be in it, and from what we've seen, it appears he's not. It's just not just going to be a cameo. It has potential to be like almost a co-star role.
Well, after watching Winter Soldier, a lot of people were like, where's this going to go? And I'm like, this is Civil Wars. And people are like, no, there's no way, there's too many characters. I'm like, no. Like, Civil Wars is going to happen. Like, it just has to.
Yeah, and I don't know shit from Shinola, but from what I've gathered, essentially the Avengers kind of turn on each other.
Well,
or like Captain America and Iron Man have fundamental different. Here's my knowledge of it, and this is how they explain Captain America 3 and what may happen. Supposedly, by the end of Age of Ultron, Tony Stark's gonna be like, "Man, I really fucked up," because Ultron is his creation, right?
I'm not familiar with Ultron, but I would not be surprised.
I'm almost positive, and I'm speaking out of my ass. So sorry, comic book people. I wish we had Justin on the horn, but I believe Tony Stark creates Ultron, and Ultron obviously becomes possessed or self-aware, and it just kicks the shit out of everything. So by the end of that, they're pretty defeated. Tony Stark's like, man, I fucked up. He's like, our superhero is really the right answer because all we're doing is just screwing the world up even more. Yeah. Where Cap, on the other hand, he's a do-gooder. He's like, we got to do what's right. We got to protect the innocent. We got to do our thing. And supposedly that puts them at odds. And eventually Captain dies.
Well,
and then I know they turn on the Hulk because that leads into World War Hulk and Planet Hulk and all that stuff.
Yeah. So what I do know about Civil Wars is that Tony Stark starts an initiative where superheroes need to be registered in a database. And that way people,
okay, that makes sense. That makes sense.
That like
it's kind of like X-Men registering the mutants.
Kind of. Yeah. But there are a few who don't agree with that, and that's pretty much what that kind of sets off, which is why there's also potential for Spider-Man to maybe even be included. If
Got to get Sony to give those rights up, girl.
Right. Well, I think Sony and Marvel can play nice because there was at one point a rumor that the Oscorp building was supposed to be in the Avengers, but timing was not right. It's not like Fox, where Fox is like, no, we don't want to play nice with Marvel.
I've read that. I mean, for those of you who don't know, Marvel at one point in time was almost a dead company. And they were selling off all their rights to Fox, Sony to make these movies. And then once Marvel got their shit together and started putting out these films, and now they're just printing money, they can't get X-Men and Spider-Man back. Yeah. Where Anna's right, where Sony has played nicely, and they've made some changes to the deal where there potentially could be Spider-Man in the Disney helmed Marvel films.
Yeah.
But you're right. I mean, Fox pretty much said, "Hey, you made the deal. Tough shit."
Yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised if because of that, maybe Fantastic Four has a little difficulty getting off, so to speak. So,
well, I don't know if you read, but I think someone put it out. But it was at NYCC. They officially said that they're killing off the Fantastic Four altogether. Like they're just killing the franchise.
I don't even see a reason why there's even a point to rebooting that franchise right now. But like the way that they wanted to do it. Not that I'm against, diversity or anything, but it just didn't make sense. It was very out of left field, and I think because of everything that Marvel's doing, it's like whatever rights Fox has, it's like, oh well, let's do it. Let's jump on the bandwagon and let's try to get something out.
Yeah, get some of that cash out of that cow before it's all dried up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I mean, and speaking of, DC, and Warner Brothers and their announcement of all the movies.
Yeah, we might as well. I mean, we're potentially going to talk about films anyways. Let's just get right into it. And go ahead. Great segue.
They're playing catch up, and that's fine. I'm not dissing DC at all. I mean, I've said it before. I feel like maybe they waited too long if they wanted to do something, but it also makes sense at the timing of it because it's not going to go against Marvel's release dates probably. But it's impressive. It's very ambitious. It's a very ambitious timeline that they've got going, and the fact that Wonder Woman is getting her own movie. So I really hope that what's her name, Gal whatever.
Yeah, Gail Gadot. Gadot. I don't know, some French girl. I don't know.
I really, really hope that she does well because it would.
It's big because there's never been a solo female superhero film. Yeah, to my knowledge.
just female in general. Yeah. So this is huge, and she was in the Fast and the Furious franchise, and I thought she did well. I mean, she was not she was not eye candy, so to speak. I mean, she held her own.
Oh, she's eye candy. Come on, Anna. But you're right. No, but she can do the physical stuff too.
Yeah. So
she's a very good looking lady. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah. We're not going to deny that.
By the way, in case those of you listening don't know what we're talking about, earlier this week, Warner Brothers and DC laid down their plan. Essentially, post Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, they're going to release essentially 10. That's right, 10 DC Comics films between 2016 and 2020. 11 if you include Batman v Superman. So there's going to be Batman v Superman, Suicide Squad, Lego Batman the Movie, the Wonder Woman standalone, Justice League Part 1, The Flash, Aquaman, Shazam, Justice League Part 2, Cyborg, Green Lantern. So that's what you've got to look forward to over the next 6 years coming from the DC franchise. What are you a Marvel girl or a DC girl?
Well, I'm more of a Marvel person only because I know more of Marvel characters. I mean, I know DC characters, but I only know them by name and whatever I've learned of them by playing Arkham Asylum and Arkham City and all of that. So I'm not too familiar. I have a couple of DC comic books.
So
that I
you
have yet
definitely
to read,
lean more
but
towards the Marvel stable.
yeah, probably more because they're of like the do-gooders, underdogs
Yeah.
type, more not clean, but I don't know, they just seem more relatable than some
The
of the
dark,
DC
brooding character of Bruce
Yeah.
Wayne. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
See, me on the other hand, it's weird. I have a weird relationship with comics and comic book. I love comic book. They're fantastic. I don't read them though. That's the problem. I think the worlds that these people create and the characters are just amazing. And my first experience with a superhero is Superman. Christopher Reeves, the
Right.
original Superman. To this day, I still get a little teary-eyed listening to that intro music because it's another one of those bonding things with little kid and his dad. But
yeah.
it was Superman, and then in '89 we had Tim Burton's Batman. So I was definitely DC first. But through Marvel's movie initiative, I've learned to appreciate and really enjoy the deep world of the Marvel characters too. But I think if you held a gun to my head and made me do a Sophie's Choice, I'm going DC. Only because of Batman. I mean, to me, I think Batman and Superman are the most identifiable, iconic superheroes of all time. I mean, Superman is the first superhero ever, period. He started comic books.
Well, yeah.
So
I mean,
I'm a
everybody
homer.
always-
I'm a homer. I love that guy. I love Superman. I mean, and Batman's fantastic too. So when you look at these DC movies, I guess the whole reason to ask that is, do you get excited about, say, a Flash movie or an Aquaman or even a Shazam movie? Where, to me, I only know Shazam through what the hell game was that? Injustice: Gods Among Us. I mean, and maybe some of the Marvel animated movies. I have to listen to me. DC animated movies. Dope.
Okay, our 6 listeners,
Yeah.
calm down, okay? Calm down. He corrected himself.
Yes, I am an idiot.
No, I'm on the same boat with you. I only know a few of these characters through Injustice or the animated movies that they've been in, but I'm excited. I mean, I love movies in general.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that. Yeah, because sometimes you get these hoity-toity film people out there like, all these comic book movies are ruining. Everyone's only making comic book movies because they make so much money. It was like, yeah, no shit. It's called corporate America. I mean, this whole country is about making cash.
Exactly.
But like you said, I'm assuming that you prefer to watch fiction-based movies versus nonfiction. Fantasy, sci-fi versus like real life flicks that win Oscars, right? I mean,
yeah.
Okay.
A majority of what I watch is that. Every now and then something will like catch my eye and I'm like, I have to go see that. Like, I still really want to go see Gone Girl. I really want to see it. It's
okay.
David Fincher.
I want to check out Fury. I think Fury looks cool.
That looks really good too. If we're just side note of like non-comic book movies or fantasy, yeah, those are definitely 2 movies that I want to check out. I want to see The Judge. I mean, that just looks really good.
I mean, how can it not be? It's RDJ and it's
Robert Duvall.
Yeah, Bobby Duvall.
I mean, I
love the smell of napalm.
Really Apocalypse Now. But yeah, I love movies in general, and I'm excited for that because at the same time it just kind of gives a break from some of the heavier films that comes out, and it's just sometimes just something to watch. And
that's how I looked at this. I was like, sweet, more comic book movies. Cool. I know I'm at least going to have films to go see in the theater up through 2020 now.
Right.
Because I never will pay to go see, like, say, a 12 Years a Slave or a...
Oh, you mean you didn't want to watch the feel-good movie of 2013?
And I guess that's kind of, I don't know if it's subconscious or not, but when I think of going to see a movie, I want to be entertained. I want to be engaged. I want my mind to work. in these real life dramas, there's no imagination involved. It just reminds you of how fucking shitty people are and how shitty we were as Americans back in the day and how shitty real life really is. I mean, who the hell needs that?
I agree.
Who the hell needs that?
I completely agree with you.
Yeah, watch the news, people. I mean, if you want real life, watch the news.
Yeah, you just need to watch it for like all of 5 minutes and you're good. You've got your dose of reality and you can keep it moving.
Yeah, I mean, someone's probably gotten killed. A little kid probably has cancer. I mean, that is our reality. So I love escaping in video games and fantasy fiction films.
Yep, and that's part of the reason. I mean, why? I mean, I love the characters. But it is escapism in that sense. You just sometimes you don't want to know about the real world. Sometimes you want to just forget about your own problems and just dive into something where you don't have to think. You are emotionally detached and you are just having fun, and that's it.
And I think BVS Dawn of Justice will let us know if DC is on the right track, because this is where they're going to kind of introduce a lot of these characters. They've opted to not do the post-credit scenes to kind of tease movies. They just create a whole fucking film to bring everyone in under the guise that it's Batman and Superman kind of working out their differences and becoming the leaders of the Justice League, if you will.
Yeah.
So I think Snyder has the weight of WB and DC on his shoulders to make sure that film people come out. I mean, I ended up at first. I did not. When I watched Man of Steel the first time, I was like, "Oh, really?" I mean, it's kind of like me, but I forced myself to go back the next day, and then I really appreciated what he did. And
I mean, I could watch Man of Steel like 100 times.
Well, that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at now. I mean, I could watch it over and over. I really do like it. I think Henry Cavill he's a gorgeous man. I'm not.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm not into men, but I can admit when a dude is just fantastic looking.
Yeah.
I mean, when he comes out of that water the first time and he's all dieseled out with his beard, it's like, oh my God, I would make out with him.
Yeah, when we went to go see that in the theater, my husband just looked at me and goes, "Stop looking at me. I'm just window shopping. Leave me alone."
Yeah. I mean, wow. That is and that's all just him. That's working out. I mean, if you got the Man of Steel Blu-ray, you saw how he basically puked himself into shape. So
yeah. So I mean, it's good. Yeah, and I agree with you. Like the first time watching it, you're just like, I don't know how to feel about it. But if you maybe just watch it like 2 more times, then it's good. But I mean, it is a good movie.
Yeah, it takes one of those films that takes at least 2 viewings to really appreciate what it did.
Yeah.
The action was great. I love the characters. I like the way they kind of muddled with the origin story a bit.
Yeah.
So I have high hopes for Batman v Superman. I think it could be excellent, or it could fuck up this entire plan for DC. And it could almost fuck up the next standalone Man of Steel and Batman movies too.
Yeah, I mean, I have high hopes. I mean, I'm a fan of Ben Affleck.
Me too. I've got nothing to. I think Affleck's gonna fucking kill it as Bruce Wayne Batman, because little do people know, this guy is a huge geek. I mean, he's like boys with Kevin Smith. I mean, does everyone not remember all of his cameos in Kevin Smith's films?
Yep.
I mean, the dude knows Batman. He knows the world. So I think we're in good hands. Plus, once you saw him in the cowl, I mean, he looked like fucking Batman. I mean, once you saw that,
yes, yeah. I mean, just the images alone are enough to have me excited for.
I'm not worried about the cast. I'm worried about can they not make this just a big clusterfuck of character introductions.
Yeah. I think it's the ambition behind it. That's why it's like that schedule that they release. It's like that's ambitious. I mean,
hardcore.
I hope it goes well.
And you're right.
Yeah.
I mean, the guys in the white suits sitting in their big tall buildings were like, hey, how come these assholes over at Marvel are essentially printing cash right now? Guardians of the Galaxy is on its way to make $1 billion in 6 months. let's go, people. He's like, come on, just churn these the fuck out. I hope they put the care into him that, Kevin Feige and the Marvel team has put the care into.
And speaking of Guardians of the Galaxy, you look at that movie.
How about that movie? Where the fuck did that come from?
Like a comic book of lesser known characters, because everyone
I didn't even know they existed until they announced that they were doing a movie called Guardians of the Galaxy. I was like, what the fuck is that? And I looked, and it's a raccoon in a tree. I was like, what is this?
Seriously, like you didn't even know what to expect, and it was
the best fucking movie of this year.
Yes, this is what BioShock Infinite does to me for gaming. This is what Guardians of the Galaxy does to me, like movie wise. Like you just comic book world out of it, just like the pure emotion, the story, it was awesome. Everything was fucking perfect.
Yeah, it felt like a Star Wars, like a good Star Wars. You had the swashbuckler, and you got the aliens, you got the spaceships, you got dogfights, you got fisticuffs, and then, like you said, there is emotion. I think it may be still too early to really go into the ending, but there's a part at the end where I definitely shed a tear over a fucking CGI character.
I was just gonna say that. Well, twice. James Gunn made me cry for a fake talking raccoon.
Yeah.
And you made me cry for Groot. And all he had to say was, "We are Groot." Yeah. And that's it. I lost it.
Yeah. It's an amazing scene.
Yeah.
It really is.
So, and
the film is just fantastic. I think one of us probably needs to do a ranking of the Marvel movies so far, and if I did, I'd be high pressed to not make that my number one.
That would be my number one, like for sure. It would be. Yeah,
it's a toss up. I don't even know if it's a toss up at this point, but Guardians, Avengers, and Captain America 2.
No shit. That's my top three.
Those are the top three.
Those are my top three.
I don't think anyone can even argue that, even though there are opinions. No. But we'll just, we'll be like commenters on a forum and be like, no, you're fucking stupid because you don't agree with us.
Yeah.
So
but those three for sure.
Yeah, and I really, like you, I think Guardians sits atop that list because, it's probably going to make $1 billion worldwide by the time it makes it out of theaters. And
And you have Chris Pratt. And I'm pretty sure what people know Chris Pratt from, one of two things: Parks and Recreations, and he's married to Anna Faris.
Yeah, I didn't know either one of those. I only knew him as the voice of Emmett from the Lego Movie.
Oh yeah, well,
I'd never seen him act before.
Okay, so
he's
Parks
fantastic.
And Recreation, he's batshit stupid in Parks and Recreation. And he's married to Anna Faris, who is probably one of the funniest women that...
And she did all those, like, scary movie or parody movies? Yeah.
Like 1 and 2, but, like, after that, whatever. But, she's funny. I think she's funny. People might not agree with me, but whatever. And he was so fat. I was watching Parks and Recreations, and in season 5 is... when you could see the weight loss. Like, he started to lose weight, and then he was gone.
You know what?
For like a couple episodes. And when he came back to an episode in season 6, he was ripped. Like, I was like, oh, he's filming Guardians of the Galaxy right there.
Yeah, because I'd seen Guardians, and then when I was flying out to Seattle for PAX Prime, I finally got to watch Her. And he's in Her, and he looks a little, like, lumpy and shit. You're like,
uh-huh.
But you can tell, in Guardians, he's built. When he goes through the jail and he's all greased up, and he definitely has some abs. But you could tell he's a guy that has to kind of work for that. He's someone like me, where if I don't work out and try to control my diet, I'll fucking blow up. Maybe not just a big fat rolly turd, but that real stocky, thick, beefy look. And you can tell he has that build. So I don't know how much you know about him. Would you say that he's relatively, he got his break late in life as far as acting goes?
As
far as like now he's a household name.
Well, he I think he started on like a WB show or something. And then from there, he just kind of, had parts here and there in
So do you think it was Parks and Rec is kind of what launched him then into the movie scene?
I think so, because the kinds of... Well, James Gunn did Slither. And if you watched Slither, it was horror funny. So there wasn't really anything like super serious. And he seems like the kind of director who doesn't take himself seriously. And if you played Lollipop Chainsaw, it was the very same humor that he brought to the game. So I wasn't surprised at the fact that he chose Chris Pratt, or that they went with Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
Because I think the kind of movie that he was making, he needed someone who had that comedic timing.
Yeah, because he can do the action and he can do the, like you said, deliver his lines.
Yeah, and I think it was probably more of a, like, can we get a comedian who could, hold his own kind of thing, instead of just getting an actor who already looked good and let's have him try
like Brad
being
Pitt.
Funny.
Yeah, throw Brad Pitt in there.
Yeah.
You know who surprised me the most is fucking Dave Bautista.
Oh my God!
Are you kidding me?
Yes.
I mean, I think he's already a better actor than The Rock. I mean, we're talking about two guys that started in WWE. I mean, The Rock obviously is a juggernaut. I mean, he's a mega celebrity, where Bautista isn't quite there yet. But I thought Bautista turned in one of the best performances.
Well, I think being a wrestler and in that kind of, being a wrestler, you're putting on a show.
Well, no, I mean, wrestlers do have a natural transition to acting, but they still sometimes come off as just, beefcakes, where Bautista, I really felt like he embraced Drax, and he was Drax, and he delivered his very dry, sense of humor.
Like, why do you want me to put a line on his neck?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I don't speak metaphors. I don't,
So if you're Batista and you see how positive people react to that movie and your performance in particular, I bet he was just on cloud nine. I mean, I follow him on Twitter sometimes, and sometimes it feels like he needs to be on suicide watch. I mean, there are times where he's like, oh, I'm not good enough, blah, blah, blah. I mean, who knows if he's just putting on a show or whatever, but I don't know if he thought he would ever kill that role like he did. And
but he did.
I mean, The Rock could have played that role. I don't know if The Rock would have done it justice like Batista did.
I don't think so.
Because The Rock, to me, is always the fucking Rock.
Yeah.
I mean, I was a WWF, screw the WWE bullshit. I was a WWF junkie during the Rock era, so from like 98 to 2002. And me and my buddies, roommates, we watched it religiously. I mean, he was the man. If you smell, all that shit.
Yeah.
So I still see The Rock, even though it's Dwayne in these movies. And he's a good actor. He was fantastic in Pain and Gain. Pain and Gain.
Yeah, Pain and Gain.
He killed it in Pain and Gain. But any like pure action movie, he's the fucking Rock.
Yeah, I agree.
So
he's The Rock.
Man, we've really chit-chatted about some films. I know I hate to cut Borderlands out, but we've already been going for over an hour, and I'm kind of getting hungry. I'm sure you are. It's Friday night. Might be a good night to have some beer or wine, watch a movie, play some games. So
I'm definitely gonna play some games. I'm gonna go back to some Borderlands. I actually texted one of my friends earlier and was like, "Yo, we're co-oping some Borderlands."
Got you. So you don't have a say. You're lining up your Friday evening.
Yeah. But Borderlands, like 2 seconds. I've played the intro. It's funny. Jumping on the moon is fun. It's pretty cool because you see some of your favorite characters from Borderlands 2. So it basically is the story of how Jack came to be Jack. And that's where I'm at.
Don't you get to play as Claptrap?
You do. But I didn't start playing as Claptrap.
That right there is almost worth getting the game to me.
Yeah.
Claptrap's one of my favorite video game characters of all time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always Borderlands is one of my favorite franchises. It's just fun and has more loot than Destiny. I've said it plenty of times already. Oh my god, loot! So, but I mean,
Skylanders has more loot than Destiny, right? As you saw last night.
Yeah, pretty much any game other than Destiny right now has a lot more loot, but. But yeah, I mean, it's fun so far. But I will know more when I dive into it tonight. And over the weekend, I will probably try and stream some Disney Infinity 2.0, some of the Guardians of the Galaxy playset. So I don't know if I'm doing that Saturday or Sunday, but I will definitely keep our fans of Entertainment Buddha, tuned to that.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because we're going to make a stronger push to get our members streaming throughout the week and on the weekend. So earlier before this Buddhacast, I was streaming Sunset Overdrive, which is not out yet, as you may have guessed, but we are allowed to stream the first 2 hours. I have streamed those first 2 hours, so I'll be going on our Twitch channel and pulling highlights, so you can go and watch the highlights. But I'm also considering tomorrow just restarting the game and recording the first 2 hours in pure 1080p, and then kind of cutting it up and doing a full-on preview of it. And then the review will go live on the 27th. But yeah, we're Twitch TV /Entertainment Buddha. That's us on Twitch. Yeah. And like Anna said, we're gonna try to get people out there on a more regular schedule because it is fun. It's a good way to interact with people and show stuff off, especially when we get these awesome opportunities and get games early that we can share. Yeah. So check out our Twitch channel if you want to look at some Sunset Overdrive gameplay before it comes out. I mean, we're about a week and a half away from that. I guess let's go around the table, the two-person table here. Anything you want to plug besides your Borderlands play tonight and then maybe some Infinity over the weekend?
Just look out for the Disney Infinity 2.0 stream for the Guardians playset. I will get with my leader here and get a date, and then you can follow me on Twitter @Febzilla. Follow us, Entertainment Buddha, on Twitter, Facebook, like us, talk about us, do that thing that we ask you to do every single time.
Do what you do, because we do what we do because of you. Yeah. Or that's what we tell ourselves. We could all just be insane and like having more work than we really need to be doing in life. But no, I mean, everyone that works for me loves what they do. They're all geeks. They all take pride in being a geek. Some are bigger movie geeks than others. Some are bigger gamer geeks. Some are comic book geeks. But if you're into that type of shit, we are a site for you. We're not top tier. You don't have to worry about Gamergates and collusion and us getting all this special stuff and greased up by corporations because we're small enough they don't give a fuck about us either, just like they don't give a fuck about you. So why not support people that are like you? Support your fellow geeks. Who cares about these people that are getting paid to make a living writing about this stuff? They're all jaded anyways. So that's my 2 cents. I'm Matt Haywood, the creator and leader, all-powerful being of entertainmentbuddha.com. You can follow me on Twitter @MattRHaywood, and that's Haywood with an E, not an A. You can spell hay with more than just an A, something I've had to deal with my whole life. And like Anna said, the easiest thing you can do, just go to entertainmentbuddha.com, check out all our social networks we're on. We got Instagram, Twitch, Facebook. I'm doing Raw Radio these days. I forgot to mention that. If you use Raw Radio or the old Insta Radio, follow @EntertainmentBuddha. Every day I try to do a 2 to 5 minute recap of what we've written each day. So if you don't feel like being a go-getter and scrolling through our site, I talk to you and tell you what to look at. So I'm just trying to make things easy for you. But we love you. We love you, Farsender, if you're listening. That's our one super fan out there in the ether, so appreciate it, buddy. We will probably be back in 2 weeks to talk about more video games by then. Some additional big AAAs will be out by then. I should have my full Sunset Overdrive review complete. So in the meantime, just keep hitting up the site, people, because we make you a better geek one post at a time. And in the words of Eric the Actor, bye for now.